This conference will now be recorded.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's start. So just a quick recap of what we learned in the previous session before starting today's session. So in the previous session, we spoke about some of the important Linux commands, such as how to use mkdir command to create the directories and how to use rmdir command to remove the directories. Also, we have seen how to use cd command to change the directory. And to know the current working directory or print the working directory, we have seen how to use pwd. Also, we spoke about how to use man to get the manual pages of a specific command. If manual pages are not available, then we can use help. Help is also used to get the different options of a command. Also, we have seen how to use rm command to remove a file. And we have seen how to use cp command to copy a file or a directory. And mv command can be used to move or rename a file or a directory. And we have also seen how to use vi editor to edit the files. And to list the files and directories, we have seen how to use ls command. And cat command is used to display the file contents, but cat command will try to display everything in a file. So hence, we preferably went with using either head command or tail command. Head will give you first 10 lines of a file, whereas tail will give you last 10 lines of a file. So this is what we have learned in the previous session. So the agenda for today's session is about learning the Hadoop commands that are required. Hadoop commands or HDFS commands. So let's start. So first command is nothing but Hadoop itself. So here I'm going to go to the Cloudera Fix.vm. So I'll open the terminal. I'll maximize this. I'll click on view and zoom in. So before running any command, I just wanted to make sure there is nothing inside this directory. So ignore this command that I'm running right now. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay, so the first command is nothing but Hadoop itself. You just have to type Hadoop and then hit enter. Once you type Hadoop and then hit enter, you can see a bunch of commands here. Within that, we are interested in FS. FS stands for file system. So let us see the subcommands under FS. So here I'm going to say Hadoop space FS and then hit enter. You're going to see the list of all the subcommands under that. You can see that these are all the list of subcommands under Hadoop space FS. These are the ones that we are going to learn today. Also, you can get the similar commands by using HDFS, hit enter. Once you say HDFS, again you can see that there are a bunch of subcommands. Within that, we are going to look at the subcommands under DFS. DFS stands for distributed file system. HDFS space DFS, hit enter. Now you can see that there are a bunch of subcommands under that, right? So the commands from HDFS space DFS, it's nothing but these commands. They are exactly same as the of the commands that we have under Hadoop space FS. They are exactly same. So we'll try to understand about HDFS space DFS. So we have seen how to use Hadoop command, and we have also seen how to use Hadoop space FS to get the list of all the subcommands. And we have seen how to use HDFS space DFS to get the list of all the subcommands under that. Now there are plenty of commands how to get more information about any command. You're going to use usage command. So the syntax goes this way. So Hadoop space FS and then hyphen usage and then the command. So in Hadoop also we have a command called as ls. To get more information about a command, we are going to use usage command. Let me show that. Hadoop space fs hyphen usage ls. So we are trying to get more options from usage ls command. You can see that these are all the list of all the supported options for ls. But now this is not telling me what each of these options are. That's where instead of using usage, I can even use help. Now here you can see I'm saying hyphen help ls, and you can see the short description about the command. Also, you can see the list of all the supported options and their short descriptions. So that's by using either usage or ls, you are going to get more details about either usage or help. You're going to get more details about any given command. So let's start our first command called as touch command. But before that, I want to make an important point here. Just a moment. So generally in Linux, the home directory will be available in this path. So what's the path? Home and then the user ID. Right. So right now on the Cloudera Quick Start VM, the home directory for the Cloudera user will be home Cloudera. So what about in Hadoop or what about in HDFS? So in HDFS, the home directory will be available under this path /user and then the user ID. For Cloudera user, it's nothing but user Cloudera path. So for all our Hadoop commands, I'm going to use this path, user Cloudera. So the first command that I'm going to run is ls command, just to see the list of all the files and directories. HDFS plus DFS hyphen ls. Just check the contents under user Cloudera path. There is nothing right now. Right? No contents are available under user Cloudera path. Now I'm going to create a first empty file in Hadoop by using touchz command. So let's see how to do that. HDFS space DFS hyphen touchz under user Cloudera. I wanted to create an empty file called as, let's say, sample.txt. So let's run ls command to confirm the same. You can see that sample.txt is available here. Also, I'm telling that this is an empty file because look at the size, it's showing as 0 bytes. And this is the file because it is starting with hyphen. So that's a by using touchz command, you can create an empty file in Hadoop. Now, can I create multiple empty files? Yes. Let us give it a try. I want to create 2 empty files now by using touch command. Let's say I want to create a file with the name called as a.txt, and I want to create one more file with the name called as b.txt. So you should see 2 empty files now, a.txt and b.txt, getting created shortly. You can see here I gave a wrong path. Actually, I should be giving user Cloudera here. So let's do one thing. Let's create 2 files called as c.txt and d.txt. So now let's run ls command to see the list of all the files and directories. Now I can see that 2 empty files have been created, c.txt and then d.txt. So that's by using touch command we can create a single empty file as well as multiple empty files as well. Now let's talk about put command. So put command is used to copy the contents from your local Linux file system to HDFS. So let us talk about that. So first, let me create a file in my local Linux file system. I'm going to create this file called as file1.txt. This is file1.txt. Look at the contents of it. So this is a sample file with the one line. Now I want to copy this file into Hadoop. To do that, I'm going to use put command. HDFS space DFS -put. The file name is file1.txt and the destination directory is user cloud era. You can verify the same by running ls command. Just check the contents under user cloud era path. Have a look here. We have the file called as file1.txt created. It's copied basically from local Linux file system to HDFS. Now I wanted to check the contents of this file. You can use cat command. Have a look here. We are able to see the contents of the file as well. So that's by using put command, you can copy a file from your local Linux file system to HDFS. There is a second way to do that by using copy from local. Let me create one more file. This is file2.txt and check the contents of it. So I want to copy this file from a local Linux file system to HDFS. This is how I'm going to do. HDFS plus DFS, I'm going to use copy from local. And the file name is file2.txt and the destination is user cloud era. So now I wanted to verify the contents by running ls command, HDFS plus DFS -ls. Check the contents under user cloud era path. I can see the file here, file2.txt copied. Let's check the contents by using cat command. Now have a look here, we can see the contents. Contents are looking good. So that's by using put command or copy from local command, we can copy the files from your local Linux file system to HDFS. We have also seen how to use cat command to see the contents of a file. Let's talk about get. Get is opposite of put. So it is basically used to get the contents from your Hadoop location to local Linux file system. So let us talk about that. So HDFS plus DFS -ls. First check the contents under user cloud era path. Hey guys, just give me 1 minute. I'm getting a call. Just give me 1 minute. Hey guys, sorry, I have got an important call, so I had to pick it up. Sorry about that. So I was talking about get command, right? So get is to get the contents from Hadoop to local Linux file system. Suppose I wanted to copy a file called as sample.txt from my Hadoop location to Linux. So I can just use get command. So let me show you how to use get command to do that. HDFS hyphen get. So I want to copy sample.txt and I want to copy it into my local Linux file system. So let's look at the contents here. So you should have a file called as sample.txt. Just to confirm this is copied latest, type date command. So the current time is May 2nd, 1849. Look at the timestamp of this file, the same timestamp. So that is one way to copy the files from your local from your Hadoop location to Linux. There is a second way. Let me talk about that. Suppose I wanted to copy a file called as d.txt from my Hadoop location to Linux location. Then I can use copy to local as well. So let me show that. I'm going to say copy to local. We are trying to copy something to the local Linux file system. That's why the command is copy to local. So the file which you would like to copy is d.txt and I'm giving dot. Dot reference current directory in Linux. You can see the file called as d.txt here. To confirm the timings, you can set date May 2nd, 1850. So this file also has been created at the same timestamp. So that's by using get command or copy to local command. We can copy the files from your Hadoop location to the Linux location. So one Intel question here, what is the difference between put command and get command? So put command is used to copy the files from your local Linux file system to HDFS, whereas get command is opposite of put. It is used to copy the files from your Hadoop clusters to the local Linux file system. So any questions still here, guys? Anybody have any questions? Let me know. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. Any questions so far? I think we are good then. So let's move on. So let's talk about CP command. So CP command is used to take a backup of a file or to copy a file. So let me check the contents under my user cloud era path. These are the contents. Suppose I want to take the backup of this file called as file1.txt. Then I can use CP command for the same. HDFS plus DFS hyphen CP. And I want to create a backup of this file. Hence, I'm going to copy the full path of this file. And then the backup file name could be file1 underscore backup.txt. So this will create one more file called as file1 underscore backup.txt. Now let's look at the contents. You should have a new file called as file1 underscore backup.txt. Can you see that? Now the contents of this file and contents of original file must be exactly same. Let us confirm the same. So I'm trying to check the contents of file1.txt. So the contents of file1 are looking good. Now I'm going to check the contents of file1 underscore backup.txt. Sorry, I forgot to give the command HDFS plus DFS hyphen cat. Now have a look here. We have the same contents within both file1 as well as file1 underscore backup.txt. So not only creating a copy of a file, it can also be used to copy a file into a directory. But we don't have any directories right now, because if you try to see the list of all the files and directories here, you don't have any directories because all of these are starting with hyphen. So these are all files for me. So let us create a directory first. HDFS plus DFS hyphen mkdir under user cloud era. I wanted to create a directory with the name called as d1. So look at the output here. We have a directory called as d1 created. So you can see the directory called as d1 created. Now my goal is to copy a file. Let's say I want to copy a file called as file1 underscore backup.txt into this directory called as d1. Let's see how to do that. HDFS plus DFS hyphen CP. I would like to copy file1 underscore backup.txt into the directory called as d1. You can go and check the contents of d1 directory now. You should have that file called as file1 underscore backup.txt there. You can see the file file1 underscore backup.txt is available in d1. So the cp command can be used for two things. One is to create a copy of a file as well as to copy a file into a directory. Let's talk about ls command. So we have been using that, but now can we use the ls command of Hadoop with any other command in Linux? Yes. Suppose my requirement is, so if I try to run ls command, it's getting me both the files and directories, right? It's getting me both files and directories. But suppose let's say my requirement is to get only the directories. In that case, you can actually club this command with the Linux command called as grep, and then try to get d. That will give you only the directories. So this is going to get me only the directories. You can see it's showing as d. So this is a directory. Now I want to get only the files. So here you can see that you are getting only the files. So that's why you can also club the Hadoop commands with the Linux commands as we are doing right now. So we have seen how to get only the directories. We have also seen how to get only the files. So generally in the big data world, we are going to deal with huge files, right? Now I wanted to get the file sizes in the human readable way. For that, we can use -h command. So let me actually, so right now I'm in home Cloudera path. So here I have a file called as enterprise deployment.json. Let me copy this file into Hadoop. HDFS plus DFS -put. I would like to copy enterprise deployment.json into user Cloudera path. So let's go and check the contents under user Cloudera path. You should have this file called as enterprise deployment.json. Can you see that file? But look at the file sizes. If you take file 1, it's showing us 18 bytes, which is a small file. So if the file sizes are small, that's good. But generally in big data, we are going to deal with huge files, and their sizes will be huge. Suppose let's take this file, enterprise deployment.json. It's showing us 53,655 bytes. To get the sizes in the human readable way, we can pass an option called as -h. That will give you the file sizes in the human readable way. Look at the size, 52.4 KB. That's how by passing H option, you can see the file sizes in the human readable way as well. So you can use -r option to see the contents of the directories in a recursive way. So let me show that with the help of an example. Suppose I'm running ls command and I'm going to get the output here. I'll also run ls command with -captor option. Do you see any difference in the output from previous command and this command? So the previous command I just ran ls and this is the output. And then in the next command I'm running ls with -captor. I'm getting this output. Do you see any difference? I can see one difference. So when I say ls, I'm not seeing the contents under d1 directory. But when I say ls with hyphen capital R, I can still see the contents under D1 directory also, because hyphen R meant for recursively listing the files and directories. It will go inside all the directories and subdirectories. It will start listing the files and directories within that. So suppose, let's say if you just want to see the file names and directory names, that's it, nothing else. Then you can use hyphen capital C option. Let's try that. Hyphen capital C. Now you can see that we are just seeing only the file names or directory names, nothing else. So that's how you can use hyphen capital C as well. Now let's talk about mkdir. So we have already used mkdir to create one directory. Now I want to show you how to use mkdir to create multiple directories. So HDFS space DFS hyphen mkdir. Under user Cloudera, I want to create two directories now. I want to create D2. In the same path, I want to create one more directory called as D3. So let's verify the contents by running ls command. I can see D2 and D3 here. And these are directories because these are starting with D. Now I wanted to create hierarchy of the directories. So what is the meaning of hierarchy of directories? Under user Cloudera, I want to create a directory called as country. Within country, I want to have a directory called as states. And within states, I want to have districts. So this is what I want. I can do that by using mkdir with hyphen p option. So what is the meaning of hyphen p? Create the parent directories if it doesn't exist. So I have to use hyphen. So now to confirm, I can just run ls command. You should see a directory called as country created here. I can see a directory called as country. Now within country, I should have states, and within states, I should have districts. To see this output in a better way, I could actually say hyphen capital R on the directory called as country. You should see the states directory as well as district directory because we are using hyphen capital R option. You can see that within country we have states, and within states we have got districts. That's how by passing hyphen capital R, you can see the contents under a given path in a recursive way. So we have seen how to use mkdir command to create a single directory. We have also seen how to create multiple directories. Also, we have seen how to create multi-level directories, that is one directory within the other directory. Let's talk about get merge. But before talking about get merge, any questions so far? Anybody have any questions? I think we are good. No questions so far. So let's talk about get merge. So first, let's see the contents under user Cloudera path. Suppose I wanted to get the contents of the files such as file1 underscore backup.txt and file2.txt. I wanted to get the contents from all these three files into a single file in Linux. So right now I am in home Cloudera path. So I wanted to copy the contents of all these three files into a single file in Linux. So I can do that by using get merge. HDFS plus DFS hyphen get merge. So I want the contents from file1. So I'll copy this file1. and I want the contents from file 2. I'll copy this file 2. I also want the contents from file 1 underscore backup.txt. I'll copy this file. I wanted to have all these 3 files combination into a file called as final.txt. Hit enter. You should have a new file called as final.txt getting created here. lsfnlrt. I can see a file called as final.txt. So if you look at the contents of this file, you should have the contents of all the 3 files together. Just say cat final.txt, and you can see the contents from all the 3 files. Also, this get merge command supports another option called as -nl. -nl stands for new line character. That is, after the contents of each and every file content, it's going to add a new line character. Let me show that. So I'm going to create a new file, final_latest.txt, and I'm going to use an option called as -nl. nl stands for new line character. Now you should have a file called as final_latest.txt getting created. I can see that file. Look at the contents of this file. You can see that after every file content, you can see a new line character getting added. So that's a by using -nl, we can separate out the contents of the files. So I think there is a question to me. Let me see. Okay, there is one question in the chat. Is user Cloudera and home Cloudera both are same? They are not same, right? They're not same because, as I told, user Cloudera is meant for all the Hadoop commands and home Cloudera is actually meant for all the Linux commands. So both are different. So let's talk about rmdir. So rmdir command is used to remove the directories. So first let's see the list of all the directories. Suppose I wanted to remove the directory called as D3. I can use rmdir HDFS space DFS -rmdir under user Cloudera. I wanted to remove the directory called as D3. A directory D3 should be gone now. So I don't see directory D3. D3 is deleted. Now can I use rmdir command to remove directory called as country? Let us give a try. So I want to remove country directory now by using rmdir. It won't work because the reason is the directory is not empty. Remember, rmdir command works only if the directory is empty. But the country directory is not empty, hence we cannot delete it because country contains states, states contain districts. In that case, to remove it, you have to use rm with -r option. So here r is nothing but recursively deleting it. That is, first it will delete districts, then it will remove states, then finally it will remove country. If you look at the output now, I don't have the directory called as country directory. So country along with its subdirectories have been deleted by using rm with -r option. Now can I remove files now? So we have seen how to remove directories by using rmdir. Let's see how to remove files by using rm. Suppose I wanted to delete the file called as sample.txt. Let's give a try. Rm and then give the full path of the file sample.txt. So sample.txt has been deleted. Look at the contents under user Cloudera path. I don't have the file called as sample.txt. That's gone. Now I wanted to remove multiple files. Suppose I wanted to delete a.txt and c.txt. HDFS space DFS hyphen RM user Cloudera. Under user Cloudera, I want to remove a.txt. Under user Cloudera, I wanted to remove c.txt. I want to remove both in a single shot. So I've deleted both a.txt and c.txt. Let's look at the contents. Now a.txt is gone and c.txt is also gone. It's deleted. Now I wanted to remove all these three files. Suppose I want to remove file1.txt, file1 underscore backup.txt, and file2.txt. Do you see anything that is common among these three files? All these three files are starting with F and ending with .txt. I can use that pattern to delete all these three files. HDFS plus DFS -rm under user Cloudera. Any file that is starting with F and ending with .txt, I want to remove all those files. So here this star is nothing but wildcard character. The meaning of this is whatever may be the name, if it is starting with F and if it is ending with .txt, I'm going to remove all those files. It's deleted all those three files. So all the three files are gone. So that's how by using rm command, we have seen how to remove single file, how to remove a non-empty directory. Also, we have seen how to remove multiple files as well. Let's talk about move from local. Look at the name move from local. That is, we are going to move something from your local Linux file system to Hadoop. So let's create an empty file, touch space, let's say May 2022.txt. So this is an empty file that I've created in my local Linux file system. I want to move this file from my local Linux file system to HDFS. I can use move from local. HDFS plus DFS move from local. I wanted to move May 2022.txt into user Cloudera path. So first, let's look at the contents under user Cloudera path. So I can see a file called as May 2022.txt here. But what about the original file? My original file was in Linux file system. Is this still there? It's not there because here we're talking about moving the file completely from your local Linux file system to HDFS. For that sake, we can use move from local. So let's talk about mv. So this mv command is used to move the files within Hadoop. So first, let's see the contents under user Cloudera path. So I have got these files. Suppose I wanted to move this file called as enterprise deployment.json into D2 directory. Let's do that. HDFS plus DFS -mv. And I wanted to move this file called as enterprise deployment.json into the directory called as D2. So let's look at the contents now. So we don't have that file here because that should be moved into D2. Let's confirm the same. Check the contents under D2. So we have the file called as enterprise deployment.json here. Suppose I wanted to move d.txt May 2022.txt into D2 again. I can use a pattern HDFS plus DFS -mv under user Cloudera. I want to move all the .txt files, right? So you have to give the full path of your directory, which is nothing but user Cloudera D2. Let's give that. This should be moving all the .txt files into D2 now. Let's run ls command. So I don't have any .txt files here because all of them should have been moved to D2. Let's confirm the same. So now I can see the .txt files here, d.txt and then May 2022.txt. So you can use patterns such as start.txt also to move the files. So mv command is used to move the files within HDFS from one location to other location. Let's talk about tail command. But before talking about tail command, I want to talk about cat command again. Let us look at the contents of enterprise deployment.json. HDFS plus HDFS -cat. Let's run cat command on this file. So you can see that whenever I use cat command, it is trying to display all the files, sorry, all the contents in a file. Whether you really need it or not, it's going to get you everything. So let's look at the number of lines in this file. I can use wc-l. Wc is nothing but word count, L is nothing but number of lines. That will give me the number of lines in this file. It contains 1837 lines. So 1837 is still a small number. What if you have 1 crore lines? If you have 1 crore lines, then it will try to display all 1 crore lines. Typically in big data, the files we deal with, they'll be huge in size. Hence, using cat command is not suggested because it will try to display the entire content of the file. Is there any alternative? Yes, we have a command called as tail command. We can use tail command for the same. First, let's look at the help of tail command. HDFS plus DFS -help, say tail. You can see that it's going to show you last 1 KB of the file. So let's run tail command on top of this file. So tail command will give you last 1 KB of the file. So have a look here. Whatever contents that you're seeing right now is actually last 1 KB of the file. So that's by using tail command, you can see the contents of the file. You don't need to see the entire content. Any questions, guys? Any questions still here? Okay. So suppose let's say that I wanted to, okay, let me give some clarification here. Okay, in Linux, tail command will give you first 10 lines of a file. So in HDFS, tail command will give you, sorry, not first, last 10 lines of the file in Linux. So last 1 KB of a file, right? So whatever content that you're seeing right now is actually last 1 KB of the file. And what about head command? Do we have head command in Linux? Yes, we have a head command in Linux. So that will give me first 10 lines of a file. So head command will give you first 10 lines of the file. But what about head command in HDFS? There is no direct head command in HDFS. We don't have direct head command in HDFS, but there is a shortcut using which we can see the contents. What you could do is you could use cat command. Along with that, try using head command. So this will give you first 10 lines of a file. If you can ignore this last line, other than that, all the rest of the contents are coming from the first 10 lines. So this is very useful, especially if you wanted to see the contents, whether it contains the column names or not in a given file. So that's a use case when you can use this command. So there is no direct head command in HDFS. Even though there is no direct head command, we can follow this approach to see the first 10 lines of a file. Okay, so let me try to summarize what I learned in today's session. So we spoke about put command, which is used to copy a file from your local Linux file system to HDFS, and get command is opposite of put. It used to get a file from HDFS to local Linux file system, that is to copy the file from Hadoop to Linux. So cat command can be used to check the contents of a file, but don't use cat command because that will display everything from a file. Instead of cat, use tail. Tail will display last 1 KB of the files. Also, we have seen how to use mkdir command to create the directories in Hadoop. So ls command is used to see the list of all the files and directories. And touch-z command is used to create the empty files in Hadoop. Also, based on today's session, I got 10 interview questions for you. So what I would suggest is go through this recording again, come back to these interview questions and try to answer these questions. Of course, I'll be providing the answers to these questions in a separate file so that you can cross check. Also, I've got a couple of assignments for you. What I would suggest is after finishing off everything, I would highly encourage you to solve these assignments also. I'll be providing the answers to these assignments also in a separate file so that you can cross check. Pretty much this is what I want to cover in today's session, guys. Any questions anybody have, let me know. Any questions, Chopper?
Hi, Vamshi.
Go ahead,
This is
sir.
Arvik here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is my first class. So I'm just lagging behind some I don't know how many classes. So do you have any
Okay.
video recording sessions for me
Yes,
or any
yes.
prerequisites so that I can just go
Sure.
through it?
Definitely. So do one thing, Karthik. So send your email ID as well as WhatsApp number in the chat box. I'll give
All
the
right.
access.
Yeah. All right. That's fine.
Hi Vamshi, this is also my
Yeah.
first class and I have missed like the previous sessions.
No
So
problem.
it's the same thing for me as well.
Sure. No problem. So whoever missed out the previous session, so put your email ID as well as your WhatsApp number in the chat box. I'll give you the access and I will get in touch with you guys. Okay, put your email ID and WhatsApp number in the chat box.
Hi,
If
Vamshi.
anybody,
Hi,
go ahead,
Vamshi.
Radha. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
actually, I missed this Thursday and Friday.